Welcome to Spiritual Frequencies Online Academy. This is Dr. G. This is part 5, Why Be Conscious. As I mentioned in an earlier segment, when you're in a state of wordless awareness, now for a lot of you to be wordless is, I wouldn't say impossible, but the idea is to reduce the amount of activity that you give energy to that goes through your mental activity throughout the day. If you observe that, you're doing a certain amount of being conscious. But as you go along and you do that more and more over time, that state of wordless awareness becomes an activity of consciousness that you choose to do. Now, when you choose to be conscious more and more, and it is an effort, it's not something you just do automatically, then creative energy is more available to you. Creative energy has a lot of qualities that are very positive for your health, for your well-being, for your psychological focus, your mental focus, and so on. Now, creative energy tends to give you a state of wholeness. It's very energizing. You might say it's a higher frequency of energy available to human beings. Now, when you do that, you have the opportunity to actually have creative ideas come to you. You don't necessarily have to make a strong effort. They will start to pop almost like popcorn in your mental field. These ideas will often lead to some very beneficial activities that are very rewarding in your life. For example, I'm a writer, and as a writer, creative ideas do pop in, ideas for a book, ideas for an article, ideas for putting together a course outline, all kinds of ideas. Now, when I move into a state of wordless awareness more and become more conscious and spend time with that energy on a daily basis especially, then I have the good fortune and the benefit of having these creative ideas emerge, you could say. If I pay attention and I write them down and I follow them, I would never say they all pan out, but many of them pan out into books and presentations, and often they're well received, and the quality of energy that I experience doing it is wonderful, and the quality of energy that others experience when they either read it or investigate it or try it tends to be beneficial for them as well. So keep all of this in mind. You have the opportunity to experience this when you choose to be conscious. One of the things that very successful people do, Warren Buffett calls it compound time. This is special time that you set aside to do little or nothing. And it doesn't mean you do nothing in terms of being, lazy or unproductive. You simply are relaxing. You can call it focused relaxation, tension without tension. And in that time that you set aside, he often says something like 10 hours a week. So that's over an hour a day, an hour and a half a day. So if you carve out that time and you really focus on being aware in the moment, the creative energies tends to flow. They can come out of nowhere. I can give many examples where I really didn't know what I was going to do with a certain situation, but being in a state of wordless awareness, being conscious and choosing that, ideas will come to mind. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I was looking to find some transition in cash coming from employment, from work, and I made a list. There was one on the list that others told me there's no way that's going to happen under the circumstance. I think we might have been in a downturn in the economy, and those opportunities were going to be dried up, and there'd be no money for that. Something to that effect, anyway. Well, my creative idea felt like I should follow through on it, and I looked at the even time factor for me to follow through on it, and it was not that much, maybe an hour of my time. And it was the opportunity to be a teaching assistant at the university. I followed through on it. I did fill out all the applications, the resumes, and so on. Turned it in, and long story short, I got a phone call. Somebody dropped out of being a teaching assistant, a TA, and they asked me if I wanted to do 10 hours. I said, sure, that'd be great. I was working on my PhD at that time. And then a week later, I got another call. They said, well, do you want another 10 hours? Apparently, TAs can go up to 20 hours. And someone else decided, no, they are moving on. They're doing something else. And I was very fortunate that I turned it in, because a lot of people did not turn in the application because they heard the same thing I did. But that creative idea popped in my mind, and it felt right. And that's the key. Creative ideas are very positive energy. They feel really good. They're not necessarily logical, but they feel good. So keep that in mind. So having that time set aside each week for compound time or quiet time or relaxation time is invaluable, because you are becoming more conscious. You're choosing to put your energy into being more aware, and creative energies tend to flow. Usually I don't have anything to do with writer's block. If I need to write 9 times out of 10 at least, what I need to write is more or less there and available. I usually go back and do some editing, of course, but whatever your creative endeavor, whether you put creative energy into parenting, into work, into your business, into the arts, and so on, one of the benefits of being conscious is having the ability to tap into creative energy and experience that wonderful natural high is what I call it. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll be giving you another episode or segment of Why Be Conscious in the future here on Spiritual Frequencies Online Academy at Patreon.